Welcome to Talkin Star Wars, and this is some breaking news here from the Talkin Star Wars and the Talkin Far. I messed that up. That's okay. But we are talking here on Talkin Far Far Away. Scott, we got some interesting news today. There's a lot of different stuff that's kind of floating around the air right now, specifically from Star Wars Newsnet. Now, there's some backstory to this, and the minute you sent it to me, I was really surprised, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans, and specifically Star Wars Rebels fans, were really excited about this, reading this piece.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece. Like, I was quite surprised because a certain actor had already voiced this character in Rebels. This character has appeared in Thrawn, and I don't know. Do you want to say who it is, or will I say who it is?
You know what? You say it, Scott, because I think, we're usually on the non-spoiler side, but you know what? Let's just get it out there. Who is this person that we are talking about?
We're talking about the Emperor himself, Ian McDermott,
Ah, yes.
who is apparently reprising his role of voicing the Emperor. Now, to me, this is very exciting because we've had James Earl Jones come back to voice Darth Vader. We've had Billy D. Williams come back and voice Lando. So I think this is another great way to tie in with the original trilogy.
There's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to bringing somebody like Ian McDermott back into the Star Wars universe again. Of course, we saw him at Star Wars Celebration this year, and that was awesome seeing him on stage with Hayden Christensen. But boy, did we know coming into Rebels Season 4 that something like this. Now, I don't know if it's official news. It sounds like there is a lot of speculation behind this, and there's a lot of reports floating around that really in the Star Wars community we see as very valid sources reporting on this stuff. But overall, the idea of Ian McDermott coming back to play the Emperor in whether it's just the voice role, maybe he's going to have some discussion in terms of the Emperor at this time. It's going to be really cool to see how that plays out. And Scott, you and I were kind of talking about it offline before coming on here to do this quick news section because this is breaking news in Star Wars news. It's really interesting because we just came off of reading Thrawn and we saw the interaction between Thrawn and the Emperor himself in that. Now, heading into Season 4 of Rebels, Thrawn is still in the picture. Now the Emperor comes in. I know there's a specific person we kind of mentioned that we would like to see one of Thrawn's right-hand man show up here. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think the possibility of a young man named Eli would be a nice little addition to this story.
I would like to see it because Eli was there to he was there when Thrawn first met the Emperor. So to see him with next to Thrawn talking to the Emperor again in Rebels, and who would they get to voice Eli? That's a great one. But to me, it'd be very exciting, and it would again. We've said it before, it would tie it all together within the canon universe. Brian brought it up on your live podcast at the weekend there on Saturday about how you and I say it has to connect together. It would connect the books and Rebels together once more.
And I think that is the approach. You and I talk about it all the time, Scott, and I'm glad you brought up our live session. You guys can head on over to SoundCloud and over to iTunes and listen to that. And Brian Fontaine, Jedi Scavenger, did bring that up, and we talk about it a lot here on Talkin Far Far Away, is the connective tissue. You brought that up, Scott. Making sure that the canon novels and all of these different canon programs come together and formulate a story. Now, one of the other things I want to talk to you about, and I didn't mention this in our discussion before coming in, is that we had talked in our Thrawn review, you guys can go back and listen to that as well, that if they really have to be careful now, if they do bring the Emperor into the picture, and Thrawn, of course, in the book, was teasing at something with the Emperor. Now this is Season 4, this is the last season of Rebels. There's a lot of things that they could do with this, and I think, again, if they do it, fans are going to love it, and it adds an extra level to the canon. If they don't do it, they teased it so hard. Maybe they're going to do it later on, but they teased it so hard. It's going to be hard to see how they could back themselves away from it if that happens.
I don't think they'll do it in Rebels because I think that'll be because Rebels is about Kanan, Ezra, Hera, Zeb, um, Sabine, and uh, Chopper. So that's what Rebels is. I think what you're talking about this since Thrawn will happen, and I'm hoping and should happen in another novel. I think
Mhm.
the Thrawn novel is the first in a trilogy. I think.
That's a really cool statement, and that would be great to see that play out in the novel form. Just so much happening when it comes to Star Wars news. We're getting our ideas out there. We're throwing stuff back and forth. So make sure to join the discussion over on Twitter using Brick City Blockade, Brick City SWPC. Make sure to head on over to brickcityblockade.com. We'll have a news release up later on tonight when it comes to this specific news, because I think, Scott, there's so much there for a discussion for our fans.
Yeah, definitely so much. And if if this rumor is true, I'm going to be geeking out really badly.
It was hard. If you guys know us here, we always have our towels ready whenever we get the breaking news in the Star Wars universe. All right, Scott, it's that time of the show. It's a little thing we like to call
Plug time.
That's right. Where can the good people find you across social media?
You can find me on Facebook at Scottish or on Twitter at Scottish85. And you can check out my new article that's posted up on our website based on the first 2 years of the canon novels. So check that out.
Get your canon content from Mr. Scott Inch. You guys can follow me over on Twitter at Mr. Vote Tweets. Make sure to head on over to Instagram. Follow me at The Official Vote. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and share our iTunes feed from the Brick City Blockade Podcast Network. And please head on over to brickcityblockade.com. Check out Scott's article. Check out everything happening in a galaxy far, far away. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope to see you soon. May the Force be with you.
Always.